Welcome everybody to the Daily Mastermind. I am Paul Baxter with Mortgage Mastermind Group. Folks, I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Today is kind of a little bit of a different class. Instead of a PowerPoint presentation that we flip through and show you things, what we're going to do, because of the way that Facebook demographics work and setting up ads works, we're actually going to do this, for the most part, we're going to do it live. So the question box is wide open for you. I'm sitting here, I've got it open on my screen. It will pop open when you guys post a question to me. Any questions that you've got as we're going through some of the specifics, some of the demographics and things, please feel free to ask those questions. Just get it posted in there. I'll stop where I'm at and we'll kind of talk through it. It's very important, much more so than just having knowledge about how to put a new picture with your ad, or much more so about having knowledge about whether to choose click to websites or page post engagements or page likes. Knowing how to target the people that you want to see the ad can be the difference between success with what you're doing consumer direct wise or not being successful. And so we're going to talk about the different ways for you to be able to target people in the demographics. So that being said, let's go ahead and dive on in to my Ads Manager. And we're going to open up as if we were creating a brand new ad here. So I'm going to click on the big green button, Create an Ad. And at this point, it doesn't really make much of the demographics are the same no matter what type of ad that you're doing, whether it be a click the website, a page post engagement, or page likes type ad. The demographics are pretty much the same. Not sure exactly why this is taking so long to load in here. But the demographics are basically the same. So it doesn't make any difference what type of ad that you're doing when it comes in terms of how you target the people that you're targeting. So just for the sake of moving forward, I'm just going to select the page likes one. I'm going to choose my Mortgage Mastermind Group. And we're going to go ahead and continue once we have the opportunity to do so. Perfect. I'm not going to, we talked about it yesterday, guys, just as a quick review, you can upload different images. You can choose images that are already uploaded into your Facebook account. If you browse library, that's going to take you into, oh, come on. That's going to, browse library is going to actually take you into pictures that you've already uploaded, and you can choose from them. You've got, all of your stock images that you've used in the past. As you can see, I've got all kinds of stuff here. I've even got old Brian Heckman smiling down on us. So you can choose those. You can upload an image from your computer if you prefer to do it that way, or you can use Facebook's stock images. I've never really spent much time looking at what their stock images are. They've got some good stuff, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's some pretty decent images, Ask an Expert. I mean, they've actually got some decent images. Now that I'm seeing this, I may use some of these sometimes, especially like this one, this one with where they've got their, the hands shaking in front of a group of people. Those are good ones. Here's a lady in front of her target audience. So I'll start using some of those, but you've got options as far as that is concerned. You can upload them. You can remove an image if you don't like the way that image looks or it doesn't represent what you're trying to do so much. And again, you can upload from your computer. You can browse library. And my son's been using this computer, so I don't want to upload. I don't know exactly what he has been playing with, so I'm just going to choose this one that we played with yesterday a little bit, and we'll go ahead and add that to it. But again, for the purpose of what we're doing today, we're not talking about the images. We're not talking about the text. We're not talking about how it looks in the mobile feed or the desktop feed versus the right column. What we're going to talk about is this section down here called demographics or audience. And the audience is basically who it is that you're targeting your ad to. And one of the cool things is as you set up more and more demographics, what you'll notice is that it shows you the demographics that you're working with over here. It'll kind of stack them up and show you what your potential reach. Like right now, I don't have any demographics going other than a 50-mile radius around Arlington, Texas, which gives me 4 million Facebook users to market to. That's not a very targeted list, and quite frankly, it's not going to pull the amount of people that I want to respond to my ad because it's not targeted. I don't know that those 4 million people are interested in what we've got, and so I want to. That's not how I want to do the ad. So first and foremost, now by default, when you're setting up a Facebook, and why it showed that Arlington, Texas in there is because you will notice that I did this ad as a page-like ad to Mortgage Mastermind Group. Well, Mortgage Mastermind Group page is a business, place, or company that allowed me to put in our phone number, it allowed me to put in a physical address, and because of that, it by default added that location into my demographics. So if you don't want to use a specific location, if that's not what your ad is targeting, is that, make sure that you remove that piece before you move forward. Now, starting at the top, the first option, and this is the first option because it is probably, if you can get a good quality list, email addresses, you can do phone numbers, if you can scrape, you can use Facebook IDs, you can create an audience based on that information to where Facebook is only showing your advertisement to the people who are on your custom audience. Now, setting up a custom audience is pretty simple. If you go to your ads manager, you'll have a direct link to get there, or if you're already inside of creating an ad, you have the option to set it up from right here. You simply click on create a new audience. Going to ask you to choose the type of audience. Now, if it's email addresses or custom IDs, you're simply going to do a data file custom audience. With the data file custom audience, with any custom audience, quite frankly, you're going to give it a name and a slight description. And so we'll call this test for Daily Mastermind. My description is this is a test. And then you get to the data type, and it asks you to select one. So it's asking me, do I want to upload emails? Do I want to upload user IDs? Do I want to upload phone numbers or mobile advertiser IDs? I've never used the mobile advertiser IDs, and quite frankly, I'm not even sure how to get those IDs. I haven't found any scraping tools or any tools that allows you to get the mobile ID. But I can tell you if I use the regular user ID, if they happen to open up log into their account on their mobile device, because I'm using their user ID, they will see my ad. I don't need to use the mobile advertiser IDs. Not even quite sure what that's all about. The two most common that you're going to use are emails and user IDs. Now, I have seen it in the past where a lot of people will stumble and stall and delay and waste time because they want to have the user ID. They've got a list of 500 email addresses, but they want to get the user ID so they can target those people. You don't have to do that. If I uploaded a list of emails to the custom audience, what would happen is if it was 500, about 70% of the emails, and that's what I found on most lists, whether it be a bought list or your own purchase or your own personal list that you've grown over a period of time, depending on how old or how new the information is, you'll get about 70% of the people that you upload. Facebook will identify that email address as associated with a specific Facebook account. So it makes it nice and easy for us to have these killer lists that we can upload. You can do purchase lists, things like that, and upload them and know that that's your target audience, that those are the only people that are actually seeing your active advertisement. It's a very cool way to do it. Now, the ultimate way is with user IDs. Now, what user IDs is it's their actual account ID. Each and every Facebook account has an identification number associated with it. And if I remember correctly, get Facebook ID. Findmyfacebookid.com. I thought that's what I knew it was something simple. Findmyfacebookid.com. So to get it, you can do this in a one-at-a-time fashion if you have the inkling to. What you would do is you would paste in their profile. You would go to any person's profile on Facebook, and you would paste it into here and look up numeric ID. And I see there was a question popped in on that point. You know what? That's true. I forgot about that part, Alan. Thank you for reminding me of that. It's been so long since I did that for single IDs that I had forgotten about that. Alan reminded me that there is a really cool ninja trick that you can do to get anyone's Facebook ID, no matter who they are, where they come from. So let me just cancel out of this real quick, and I'm just going to go to the home screen. Yes, leave this page. And let's say I would like to get, I have no idea who Drew Michael Rainsmith is, but if I go to his profile, come on computer, catch up, baby, you can do it, you can do it. There we go. So if I go to anybody's profile on Facebook, if I replace this www right here in the URL address with the word graph, if I replace the www with the word graph and hit enter, what it's going to show me is it's going to show me a page that kind of breaks down the particulars of this specific account. And the first thing up there is this ID number. Notice right there, that's the very first ID number, or the first thing listed here. So now I can copy this Facebook ID number, and I can paste this onto my sheet so I can start marketing that. Right? So now I'm building my list. And you can do that one at a time. Again, the other way to do it is with you find your Facebook ID. Now notice this, because I'm not friends with Drew Michael Rainsmith, if I took his URL address, because I'm not friends with him, copy, and I go to the Find My Facebook ID, a lot of times it will not show me the ID because I'm not friends with that person. Now this time it did, success. And notice that's the same exact number that it gave me on the graph just a second ago. So either way will work, that you can actually extract a single Facebook ID very, very quickly, very, very simply. And again, to do that, you would click on anybody's name, and when you get to that URL address or when you get to their profile, you would simply replace the www with the word graph, and that gets you where you want to be. Thank you for reminding me of that, Alan. I had totally forgotten about that easy little gizmo trick. So bear with me one second as we get back into our create an ad here. There we go. Bear with me as this comes up. You know, Alan, I know you learned it from me, and I had forgotten about it. I appreciate you reminding me of these things, man. Thank you, my friend. All right, so scrolling back down, custom audience. Again, you can use email addresses. You can use email addresses. You can use user IDs. You can use phone numbers. Now, I've never used phone number. Let me ask you, how many of us on this call right now have how many of us on the call right now have included their phone number on their Facebook profile, their personal profile? Is there anyone that has their phone number on their personal profile when you set up your main account? That's a pretty silent group right there. So my thought is that none of us. And that's more likely the case with most people. You know, every person that set up a Facebook account had to set it up with an email address. So at least I got a shot at finding their account if I have an email address for that person. If I'm doing it with phone number, a vast majority of people do not have their phone number on their account. So it's not a good way to utilize the custom audience. It is doable, but it's not a great way to utilize the custom audience. Me personally, number one is the Facebook user IDs. If I've got to go through and do it one at a time, if I've got 500 and I'd like to get an ad going, I'm getting the ad up and I'm uploading those email addresses and then figure out a way to get the IDs for those people and take my time doing so that I can move forward and get my ad going. Does that make sense to everybody? Any questions on custom audience? All right, looks like no questions on custom audience stuff. Once you've created a custom audience, now you don't have to create it every time. Once you've done one, it's actually saved for you, and all of your custom audience are people, are basically a list that you've got. So if I wanted to target the Florida Realtor list, I could simply do that by selecting that from my group of lists. Now I'm specifically targeting the people on that realtor list, 19,200. That's what a custom audience brings to the table for you. Now I'm going to remove this and we'll move forward. So the next part of your audience is your locations. Now with a consumer direct marketing, you're definitely going to want to include location. What's cool about location is, let's say I wanted to do an ad right here in the area that I'm at right now. So I would put in Fremont, Nebraska. Now by default it sets it at 25-mile radius, but I've got this little drop down here and I can select that and choose to go a 50-mile radius around this area. Now what that gives me is it dilutes my number. Each time I make a change to my demographic, it changes the number of people that I'm actually marketing to. So you definitely, especially when you're talking about a consumer direct marketing approach, you need to have a local indicator on there. You don't want it to go, you don't want your ad seen. If you're in California, you don't want people in Florida seeing your ad. You don't want people in New Jersey checking out your ad if you're a mortgage lender in Arizona. If you're a Texas lender, you don't want people in Michigan checking out what you're doing or seeing your advertisement, because if they respond to it, lo and behold, you can't convert that into a customer. And so not only did it cost you money on the click, it costs you money on the send and everything in between. It's just, you want to make sure you have some sort of local indicator. And I see a question popped up there with me. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, Steve. I'm gonna cover that part pretty deeply. So make sure that you've got a location and that you've done it the right way. Again, if by default put in your area, it's going to come up to 25-mile radius. You can drop that down and max it out at 50-mile radius. If you've got multiple areas, guess what I can do? I can also say Omaha, Nebraska. Again, I want it to be a little bit more than just the 25 miles, so I'm going to drop that little arrow down. And I'm going to select a 50-mile radius around Omaha. And notice my number on my demographic changes. Now, because I'm so close, it didn't change very much. It added about 40,000 people to my demographic. The next section is age. Here's something to remember. By default, Facebook will only allow you to go to the minimum number you can choose in terms of age is 13. I can't go any lower. I can't set it at no age criteria. I don't have the ability to do that. For ads, by default, 13 is the lowest. Now, I don't have to set a max age. If I want to, I can set a max age, which I think is over 60, 64, or no age limit. So I always leave that on no age limit. Here's the thing you have to remember. That's a minimum age is 13. On your custom audience list, you may have noticed when I was doing that custom audience, it was 22,600 people on my list, and when I selected the audience, it showed me that I was targeting, without any other demographics, 19,200, I believe was the number it was showing me. There is a reason for the discrepancy in the number of uploaded contacts or in your user IDs or in your emails versus how many you can actually market to, and that is the age criteria. So think about this. Again, it goes back to when you set up your Facebook account. A lot of us, a vast majority of us, a very high percentage of us included our birth date on our profile. When we set up our Facebook profile, we included our birth date, January 11th, 1973. It's a pretty simple algorithm to figure out how old I am for Facebook. That's no big deal on the back end of that. Now, when you set up your profile, you may have noticed that your date of birth is an option in setting up your profile. It is not required information. Same thing with where you work, same thing with where you're from. Those are options, not required information. There is a small percentage, usually it is women. I'm not saying always, but usually it is women that do not include their birth date on their Facebook profile. They don't want everybody to know how old they are. So they elected to not include that information in their profile. If they did not include their birth date in their profile, Facebook has no earthly idea how old they are. Makes sense, right? I mean, it just makes sense. If Facebook has no idea how old they are, they cannot confirm that they are over the minimum age of 13. Therefore, they are disqualified from my demographics. Let me explain that again. Because of the minimum age in the demographics section of Facebook ads, I am going to exclude some people from my list because those people did not set up their birth date or year in their profile. There's nothing you can do about that. That's just the good and the bad and the ugly. It's just part of what happens. So please keep in mind, you are going to exclude some people in your ad based on their age. With the age, I always leave that by default at what it defaults to. Same thing with gender. I'm looking for all, men and women, especially with the consumer direct ad. Language, I leave language alone. I never even mess with language. And from what it looks like is it only allows you some Spanish options as far as language. Well, I may be able to type in a different language. I don't change that. Most people have their profile settings set up that if they speak Spanish, their Facebook is displayed in Spanish. So if my ad is in English, they're either going to display it in English with a button right below it that says translate, or they will actually display it in a way that allows people to, or display it in the language of that person has set up in their profile. I don't mess with the language, the age, or the gender very much at all. Now, just below the language, you've got this little section that says more demographics. This is where some of the cool stuff comes in. So some of the more demographics under relationships, you've got interested in, that's going to be for your singles. You know, they're interested in finding men. They're interested in finding women. They're interested in finding men and women. They're interested in finding unspecified. I don't even know what that means. I'm not going to go there. Not a demographic I typically use in terms of the more demographics. I do use relationship status, however. Instead of interested in, use relationship status. What this allows you to do is pick and choose. Do I want single people? Do I want people in a relationship? Married people, which are more likely to purchase a home. Engaged. Guess what they're going to be doing after they get married? Consolidating a home most of the time and possibly purchasing. I don't mess with the unspecified. Civil union in this day and age that we're in the United States of America, absolutely include the civil union. Absolutely include the domestic partnership. There are many gay and lesbian men and women out there that are purchasing homes right now. Regardless of how you feel about that politically or personally, those are people that are looking to purchase homes. Why not include them? Open relationship, complicated, those are more things that have nothing to do with what the relationship status is and where they're going in their life, so I typically ignore those. Separated and divorced, that can possibly be a good one, especially the divorced. You've got two couples, they're splitting their marital assets, a lot of times selling a home, and then you've got two people that are in the market to purchase a home. And I don't mess with widowed. I just haven't done it. I don't know why. Perhaps somebody that's doing a reverse mortgage type of program would probably be able to use that demographic a little bit because, you know, a widower may not be set up or may not, I didn't mean to click that button, may not be set up in a way that, did I turn it off? I did, doggone it. May not be set up in a way that allows them to enjoy their twilight years comfortably, and so maybe a widower would be a very good candidate for a reverse mortgage in their current state. So that's what relationship status looks like. Again, single, in a relationship, married, engaged. Absolutely add those. I want all the married people. I want all the engaged people. I want all those people that are in a civil union. I want all those people that are in a domestic partnership. Again, this is, I'm going consumer direct here. I definitely want the divorced people. With the divorced people, I may even put together a specific niche, a specific advertisement that is specific to that niche. Maybe have some verbiage that is specific to a divorcee. Okay, so it's a simple matter of just clicking on them, and yes, as you can see, I can add multiples, and then I come down into more demographics again. In addition to relationship, I can go education. You can target based on education. Now, for consumer direct, we're not, you know, we're not selling access to the newest Skylab or things like that. I don't know that education is a great demographic for a consumer direct ad. You could obviously target only college graduates, but I will tell you from firsthand knowledge, I'm not a college graduate, and I am absolutely a part of your demographic. I'm somebody that's in the market to purchase a home. I fit the age, I fit the income, I fit the relationship type, I fit all of the demographics. You would exclude me if you included only people who were college educated. Does that make sense? So think through the things that you're selecting. Yes, it sounds cool. Oh, I'm going to get the best of the best with the college ed. Not necessarily, not every time. So kind of think things through like that. And that's the way I put together ads, is I think of it in terms of me. how I would respond, what I would respond with, how I would target myself if it's, you know, if that's what I was looking to do. How would I target myself, and think about those things. Now, work obviously is a great one. You want to make sure that you've got people that are working. You can do job titles, employers. Here's a cool one with job titles that we don't think about all the time. Add a job or role. What about real estate agent, realtor, broker, broker owner, broker agent, consultant, investor, investor wholesale? So on a side note, if I'm doing ads that are more geared towards referral partnership marketing, I'm going to use that job title stuff, and I'm targeting just people that are real estate agents, just people who are, maybe I'm a, and I know a couple of you on this call are doing that, maybe I'm a loan officer recruiter for my company. I want to type in loan officer. That's what I want to target, as loan officers. Okay, that changes my demographics. Fewer than 1,000 people in the area I'm in, because each one of these is a demographical overlay. So I'm overlaying each one of these. I want people who are married, engaged, civil union, domestic partnership that are also loan officers. Well, what about the single people who are loan officers? I've excluded them because I did not include single people in my relationship status, and I selected loan officer. Close out of that, and we'll get back in here. Education, again, work, great stuff. Target by employer if you're only looking for the Century 21 agents. Job titles, if you're looking for real estate / realtors, real estate agent, real estate broker. Industry type, you can do real estate and industry type as well. Office type, do they work in a, you know, at-home office, in a large office, a small office, things like that. One of the biggies, and the next two are really, really good ones, financial. Financial is fantastic. Where did it go? Did it disappear on me? Let me come back down here. Financial. So you've got income and net worth. I don't really mess with the net worth, and it's kind of the same thing as income. What I look at is their income. And with income, you've got multiple demographics. Now, I know somebody making $30,000 to $40,000 a year is typically a paycheck to paycheck kind of person. They are typically not in a financial position to have any sort of closing cost or down payment situation, things like that. So I will typically not target those people. But everybody else I'm looking to target. You know, somebody that makes $40,000 to $50,000 a year, they may be eligible. What if they're in a couple situation and the other person in the couple makes it 40 or 50 also? Well, that family household income is $100,000 a year. So you can choose the different income criteria, and yes, I can add multiple income criteria. Oh, button's not working so good. So yeah, there we go. Now I can add multiple income criteria. So I only want people making $75,000 or over $125,000. So I've selected those three groups from the demographic. And now that's who I'm targeting, is only people that have that as their income criteria. The next one is probably my favorite, and that's home. So home, you've got home type, which by itself, they live in a multi-family home or a single-family home. If I'm targeting renters, first-time home buyers, I'm targeting people that live in a multi-family home. Absolutely. Where did it go? There it is. You can also target by home ownership. Do they own their own home, or are they renters? I don't want to get my ad in front of people that already own their own home because, well, they already own a home. Maybe I could do a refinance for them, but I'm looking for purchase leads on this. More demographics, home. What about home value? How much is their current home worth? There's another demographic that you can include if you're focused on only targeting people that are going to be in the market to upgrade, or they fit within what your average loan amount. Look, you're looking to grow your business or increase your revenue or increase your income by targeting homeowners of a different sort. Instead of $150,000 buyers, you're looking for those $300,000 buyers. So you can target based on home value. Here's another biggie. This one is my fave. Under home, household composition. Guys, you're going to love this. Check out what household composition does. Children in the home. They're going to be pretty good for following up with. If I'm doing a reverse mortgage type of advertisement, empty nesters and grandparents. Those are people that are probably, the empty nesters maybe not getting to that 62, 63, but the grandparents, they're more likely to not to be in that age criteria. No children in the home. Here's a big one, guys. Look at this. Veterans in home. How many of us are thinking, I know Warren, is Warren on the call with me today? Let me check and see. Yeah, Warren is on the call with me today. Check this out, Warren. I'm going to take away this children in home. I know that you are doing a advertisement where you are targeting specifically veterans. You've got your VA thing going. So if you come into under, again, the demographic is more demographics, home, and then choose household composition, you can come into household composition and choose veterans in the home. Could be them, could be somebody else, but all the people that have a veteran in the home. Now your ad's going to be seen by those people. Huge, huge advantage there. Steve had asked earlier, can you show about possible home buyer demographics into detail? I had showed it earlier in the week and what it does to suggest price range. So what we're talking about there under more demographics, where was it? Financial? No, it was home. Home ownership type, home ownership. That's where you're gonna select things. You know, God, I guess Steve, I don't know what you mean by and what it does to suggest price range. I'm not sure what you mean to suggest price range. Have I answered your question basically? Because I know I went into that home section quite a bit. I went into the income section. Okay, cool. There's also, and I'll cover this in just a minute as well, there's also a little bit under behaviors that will give you a leg up. So again, under more demographic, that veterans in home, that's a huge one for those of you who are doing the VA stuff. Ethnic affinity, I'm not even going to cover that really. I don't use it. There's no reason to. I don't discriminate based on anyone's their ethnic affinity. And quite frankly, it does not give you a whole lot here anyway. It gives you, you know, Spanish American, Hispanic all, Hispanic English, Hispanic dominant, Spanish dominant. I just don't use it. I don't believe in looking at things in that fashion, so it's just not something that I look into or will use. Yes, I remember. I know exactly what you're talking about now. Generation. Here's another good one for those of you who are doing the reverse mortgage one. Now, by default under generation, it came up with baby boomers, but I can choose other generation. Why did only baby boomers come up? That may be the only one they have in there. As a matter of fact, I think that is the only one they have in there, which is huge for those of us who are doing the reverse mortgage program. Under generation, baby boomers. That's exactly who your target is. That is exactly who your target is. Same thing with the veterans from before. That's exactly who our target is. Okay? That's exactly. Parents. You can do all parents, and what all parents allows you to do is you can choose from expectant parents, all parents of kids that are 0 to 3, parents of kids that are 16 to 19, because you think, well, you know, those people are probably going to be empty nesters pretty soon here. So you can do parents and select that based on what you're doing, looking for new parents. Mix and match some of these demographics so that they work for what you're doing. And what's really cool is you can change those later on. You can change your demographics. Politics, you guys know me, I stay away from politics. I'm not looking to target people based on whether or not they're Democrats or Republicans or whether or not they donate to political groups. I stay away from the politics stuff. Doesn't make any difference to me whether they're Republicans or Democrats. I'll sell them a house. I'll do their loan for them. And then life events is another good one. Away from home, away from hometown, new job, new relationship, newly engaged. That's huge. Newly engaged 1 year, newly engaged 3 months, newly engaged 6 months, and then you've got newlyweds. Those people are going to be likely to be purchasing a home. Now here's another one that is recently moved. So recently moved will let you know, hey, that's somebody that either moved into an apartment or purchased a home recently. The demographic is there. Not quite sure how that would work for us in terms of targeting folks that would be interested in a mortgage. Perhaps down the line that would be somebody that I would maybe target with a renovation home loan or something like that. But the demographic is there for you under life events. Interests. You can talk about what they're interested in, business and industry, they're interested in fitness, food and drink, they're interested in hobbies and activities, shopping and fashion, technology. Not great stuff, but it's additional demographics that you can use. Now, if I'm doing referral partnership marketing, I would use business and industry and then add real estate to that business and industry type thing. So I'm going to remove that out of there under interests. And then, Steve, this is the one that you were most interested in from your question, is the behaviors. Here's what behaviors will allow for you. When you go into behaviors, you can look at their automotive, powered by R.L. Polk. What that is it's demographic. It shows when it'll show when they register their car. It'll show when they register a new car and pay tax on it. It kind of is you can use that information as predictive in terms of their purchasing. But that's more to do with the automotive industry. It's cool stuff, not so good for what we're doing. Charitable donations, digital activities. Digital activities is pretty cool in that you can focus on, you know, what browser they use, or are they online spenders? What operating system do they use? Are they technology early adopters? Again, another good one for targeting your referral partnerships. And let me shrink that back up so we can move forward here. Mobile device users, you can target specifically based on whether or not they use mobile devices. Purchase behaviors, business purchases, buyer profiles, clothing, food and drink, health and beauty, home and garden. If somebody's spending a lot of money on home and garden and household products, they're likely going to be doing some renovation. That's a good person to focus on my FHA 203K program with. Purchase behavior. Did I just do that one? I did just do that one. And then the biggie, this is the one you wanted, Steve, residential profiles. Are they likely to move? Are they a recent home buyer? Are they a recent mortgage borrower? Did they just get a recent mortgage? Did they recently move? This likely to move, that's huge. That's huge. So if I coupled likely to move with veteran in the home, come on. Likely to move. I'm going to take off my baby boomer stuff here. So this ad right now, and I'm going to take off the income. I'm going to take off the relationship type. So what I'm looking for are people that live in and around the Omaha, Fremont, Nebraska area. They live in a multi-family home, most likely an apartment or a duplex, or they're not in a single-family home. They're renters right now. They're veterans, and they are likely to move. Now, my list is very small, but it is very, very targeted. It's a small list, but it is targeted. Okay? So that's what behaviors can bring to the table for you. In addition to this recording, have you seen any YouTube videos that may lend a hand in this process? James, quite honestly, I have not, my friend. I haven't looked for it either, so I have not. I'll tell you what, I would be more than happy to help you out and hold your hands through some of this, getting you going so that you could get started on this. Because I think for you, where you're at in your area, I think this could be a big, big win for you, starting to do some consumer direct ads up there. In the Pittsburgh area. I'll be happy to help you out. Just shoot me an email and we'll work out a time when I get back from Nebraska that you and I can get together and sit down and go through some of this stuff. Is there a veteran-only category, yes or no? No, Jeff, there's not a veteran-only. The only thing that they've got for veteran is veteran in home, which means that through the census, through the survey from Axiom, it is discovered that either the person filling out the survey or someone in that home is a veteran. Somebody has a veteran that lives in the household. But it's not only going to focus on, I can't do one that only focuses on veterans themselves. Does that make sense? So there may be some people in this list of people that are not, the person that saw my ad isn't a veteran, but their husband is, or their life partner is a veteran of the armed services. Hey, check this out. Hey, we can buy a house. Did you know with your veteran status, you get a benefit that allows you to purchase with no money down, or whatever your ad is. But it allows us to target that group of people much easier than without the demographic. But no, there's not one that is specific just to veterans in the home. Now, one of the things that you're going to get in the habit of, and that's all the demographics that you've got, when you go to the campaign pricing, you want to give it a name. I wouldn't call this Fremont, Omaha. I would call this VA to renters. So I'm doing a VA loan advertisement to renters. You can pay per day. You can pay lifetime budget. I typically set this up on a per day in the beginning just till I see how it works. I will typically set it up for $10 a day. Run my ad set continuously starting today. Optimize for page likes. Now I'm on a page like one. I've got a direct call to action. Typically I will be using a page post engagement and I don't have to change this bidding. If I'm doing a page like one that I need to incent Facebook to show my ad because I need action takers, I'm going to change this bidding to optimize for clicks because I want to pay you, Facebook, I'm willing to pay if you get me clicks. But then I always make it manually set your maximum bid for clicks. Now Facebook's suggested bid on this is 11 cents. So I'm going to offer Facebook a full dollar for every click that they give to me. Now I'll never end up paying that full dollar, but I'm offering Facebook the extra dollar or the extra money to give them the incentive. Now Facebook knows they're only going to get paid if I get a click on my ad. And my ad is only going to be seen by people who fit my demographics. That's how you maximize that ad. So once you've done that, you're not set in stone. You would simply place order. Once you've placed order, Facebook is going to review your ad. They're going to determine whether or not it violates their policy. And some of the things that violate it is if you have too much text in your images, if it's inappropriate material, if there's cuss words in your stuff or in your script, they will deny the ad, or they'll accept it automatically, but then during the review process, they will pull your ad. You will get notified if that does occur, so don't worry about notifications and things like that. Now, one of the things that you may find yourself needing to do is editing an ad. Now, when I come into my ads manager, by default, it comes to campaigns, and each one of these is its own campaign. To change the actual ad, I would go to Ads. So now I'm looking at the actual ad itself. Now, if I want to edit this first one, I don't click the edit pencil here. What I do is I actually click on the ad to expand that so I can see what the actual ad looks like. So now it's showing me the ad. And I've got three sections here. I've got creative, I've got bidding, and I've got targeting. Well, let's say I don't like what this says in the actual advertisement. It's not generating enough leads. I'm going to create or edit the creative part. Now, this is a page post engagement, so I'm not going to have a whole lot of opportunity or options in terms of editing the creative part. But I can certainly do that. I'm doing a boosted page post to a target audience, so I really can't edit too much of the creative. If I come up here, now I could either go back to here and click the edit pencil by the targeting, or since I'm over here already, I can use these action buttons on top. So if I want to edit my targeting, I would select the targeting option. And now I can come in here and I can add to my custom audience. Or I can come in here and I can still add more demographics. Or I can take away a demographic that I had included in here. So I can edit those things after the fact. Oh, it's performing well, but not well enough. Maybe I take off the renters part and just focus veteran in the home. Doesn't necessarily have to be a renter. Doesn't necessarily have to be in a multi-dwelling unit. That way I'm getting more and more people to see my ad. So you would tweak your ad just kind of based on what you're seeing in terms of the results. Same thing with pricing. If I notice, hey man, if I notice this ad is really generating well and I want to change the pricing, now because I'm on a page post ad, I can't really edit that pay-per-click thing, which is like I was showing you before on this one, but I can still, by closing this, continue here. I can still come up here to the budget section and I can edit my budget. remember a minute ago, by default, usually when I start an ad, I started at $10, see how it's performing, and then I will up that. You know, if it's performing, if my ad's pulling and I'm getting people clicking it, I got no problem paying a little bit more money. And that's a determination that you'll make. You can also set an end date or set dates for your ad to run in that section. Guys, girls, that's the demographics of how we utilize and create ads utilizing the best possible targeting. Again, my favorite targeting is hands down the custom audience. If I have access to a custom audience. For consumer direct ads, the kind of ads that we're talking about doing over the last few days, use the generic, the regular demographics. Use what's available to you. Facebook is, I mean, they're no joke anymore. They're every bit as big and powerful as Google in terms of how much information they have collected on users over the years. Why not use that information that Facebook has already gone out and collected for you? Use it to your advantage. My Nebraska trip is a little bit of both, James. It's a little bit of vacation and a little bit of work. My wife's mother, we recently needed to we needed to ensure her safety, so we had to get her into a nursing home recently. And when that occurred, there were lots of clothes and furnitures and all kinds of good fun stuff to clean out of her apartment. And that happened on the last trip when they got her into the nursing home. So what this trip is about is we're visiting Mom and enjoying ourselves to spend a little bit of time with Mom. But we're also having a big old garage sale. So if anybody's in the area and needs some stuff, come on by and check out the garage sale. That's what we're doing up here, is we're kind of consolidating and getting Mom all set up and making sure she's well taken care of. I'll be back on Tuesday. Will be the best day for me. I fly back Monday night, so Monday's class will also be remotely. And then Tuesday, I'll be in my office on Tuesday, regular office back, and I'll be ready to work with you one-on-one a little bit on then James. Tomorrow, guys, got a great class. It's going to be an awesome presentation by Chad Bates. We're going to be talking about the Realtor Needs Assessment. If you have not taken the opportunity as a member to check out what's on Chad's Corner yet, make sure that you do so. You're going to find in there the Realtor Needs Assessment, which is, it's a little document that you can download, make it your own, edit it, put your name all over it, make it yours. But what it is it's kind of that ammunition for when you're sitting in front of a real estate agent and you want to get them to like you. You do this Realtor Needs Assessment and then ask the right questions and gives the right answers. No, I'm not doing a targeted ad on the garage sale. James, that is in the member site. When you go into the members area, the yellow buttons that run down the right-hand side starts with Daily Mastermind, Top Producer Interviews. Right below that, you'll see a button that says Chad's Corner. Select that button, and that'll take you right into all of the information we've got available on Chad's Corner. All right, boys and girls, great stuff. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. I hope you learned a little bit of something, had some fun stuff. Alan, thank you again for reminding me about that graph part of finding the Facebook ID. I had forgotten about that completely, but thank you so much for reminding me of that. I'll be using that moving forward here. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. Have a fantastic rest of your day. We'll see you right here, same time, same place for our top producer interview with Mr. Chad Bates, and then right back here on the Daily Mastermind on Monday. Guys, girls, have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.